Hey guys, Wingsaber here, and today I'd like to present to you guys the first of a multi-part series I like to call League to HotS The Transition. Now, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's going to be a video series comparing League to HotS and really just ease you into things when you try to start playing HotS for the first time. Today's episode going to be about class selection, character selection, and the different roles within the game. Now, in League, there is the mid laner, the top laner, the jungler, the AD carry, and the support. In HotS, there's the off laner, the tank, the DPS, the flex, and the healer. The labels on each of the character classes can be really confusing sometimes because not all the supports are healers, not all of the warriors are tanks, and not all the assassins are, quote unquote assassins. Now, to go through with it, let's start off with warrior. The warrior class is bulky, they're tanky, but they're not all main tanks. In heroes, you always want one main tank on your team. So the warrior class, it consists of main tanks and offlaners. Now, what an offlaner is, this is more of a Dota term. But because Heroes of the Storm is team reliant experience, meaning your team gets the same amount of experience, so you'll all be the same level. The offlaner is the one that's going to have a lot of the experience because he's going to be in a solo lane, just sitting there soaking away. Sometimes the offlaner is going to have to rotate to other lanes to cover them, called double soaking. So you rotate from mid to bot or mid to top to catch the experience in both lanes because your team is fighting down in bot lane. The offlaner is basically wave clear. And some offlaners can also take mercenary camps by themselves, but not all of them, as some of them are faster than others. And the slower ones, it's just not worth it to do it by yourself sometimes. Now, I'm going to put up a picture of the warrior class. And if you guys pay attention to the notes, it'll tell you exactly where the offlaners start compared to the warriors. Now that out of the way, we're going to move on to the assassins. Now the assassins, they're not the typical assassins you would think of in League. They're not all these high mobility, bursty characters. They're not all Zed. They're not all Talon. They're not all Fizz. But assassins really refers to, as a broader term, as anyone who really just does damage as a primary means of contributing to your team. So what this includes within assassins is actual assassins, otherwise known as gankers. And we have just DPS, so like mages, constant damage carries. I'm also going to flash an image here right now of the different DPS, the mages, and the carries. So with that out of the way, we're going to move on to the third vital role, the support role, or the healer, whichever one you want to call it. Okay, so under the support role, when you click on the support tag in the client, it's going to show a set of heroes, but not all of them are healers. Some of them are what you would call a secondary support. These are more similar to the supports in League because some of them can heal, but that's not their primary goal. They bring more utility to buff up your teammate or stuff like that compared to as just straight healing. I'm going to show the image now so you guys can pause, take a look at that if you need to. Say if you like playing Janna in League, you might like Tassadar, because what Tassadar has is at level 4 he can augment his shield to either give someone 75% lifesteal or 15 armor. And what armor is basically a flat damage reduction. So if you have 15 armor, you have 15% damage reduction. Okay, so we're gonna move on to second to last subsection of heroes called the specialists. Now the specialists, there's really a unique bunch of heroes here. The vast majority of them were really built for wave clear and siege damage. They just push. You just get really annoyed. Basically, it's a split pusher. Think of like a Nasus or something. And it's just gonna split push you to oblivion. And not all of them are like that. One exception is Medivh. Medivh is a secondary support because he has this ability where if you click it on someone, They don't take damage for, I think it's about a second. And it has these portals that let you traverse the map faster than you would otherwise would be able to. But the other heroes, they're mainly just for pushing. Now, the specialists are probably the least played class of heroes because they're not that useful, because some specialists are offlaners. As you guys can see in the offlaner list, there will be some specialists in there as well. But some specialists also double as DPS or a secondary support. So really, specialists, you don't really need one, but if you want to play them, you can. There's nothing wrong with it. And now the very last category, multi-class. There is one character in the multi-class category, and that is Varian. The reason why he is the only character in there, because he gets his heroic or his ultimate at level 4, and he gets 3 choices. He gets taunt, which means he turns into a main tank, as you guys can see him in the main tank list earlier. It makes him really tanky. It gives him a taunt. His second option is going to be called Colossus Smash, and it turns him into a burst hero, more like kind of like an actual assassin at League, like a Zed who just jumps on someone and they just explode. That means he's also less tanky because of this. And the third option is going to be called the Twin Blades of Fury, and Twin Blades of Fury sounds exactly what it sounds like. It's 2 swords. You get 2 swords, you attack really fast, and you can pretty much duel a lot of people in the game. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's episode of HotS to League, or League to HotS, whatever you want to call it. Like, subscribe, comment on what you guys want to see next. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Wingsaber out.